This is Danny Gaffone for Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat. We're at a fast, emptying M&S Bank Arena. It's an absolute pleasure to be joined by Sky's head of boxing, Adam Smith. Adam, very good card, very entertaining. Smith McCuneo looked to be turning into quite an entertaining fight, but a strange ending there.
I think it was a frustrating sporting day all round in Liverpool. I was at the Merseyside derby with Ben and DILLIAN Whyte earlier, and 0-0 draw, and that was a weird one. And we left there, and then we came here, and it was entertaining at Goodison Park. There was loads of chances, and woodwork hit, and keepers saving everywhere, but no goals. And tonight we got lots of action and entertainment and different stories, and then some really not impressive ones, and two endings which were farcical, really, to be honest. And I'm not going to sit here and criticise fighters. Every fighter that gets in a ring I have huge respect for, but Johnny was very clear. He said that Marquinhos had dived. I think Liam knew that, having had a sparring session before, that there was capabilities for that to happen, and it was bizarre. As you said, it was turning into a really decent little watch, and Marquinhos was having his success, and suddenly it seemed that the ankle had gone, then the gum shield came out, and as soon as that started happening you think, hang on. And then he seemed sort of fine 30 seconds later, or complained a bit, and it was weird. And yeah, unfortunately, he didn't look like he wanted to be there anymore, and it was a very disappointing ending, and very disappointing for Liam. Homecoming, really excited, sold out the arena, and for the fans it's really difficult, and for everyone watching at home. And unfortunately it happened twice with Fraser Clarke's opponent as well, and yeah, it's really not satisfactory when these things happen. And as Fraser said to me afterwards, that was dangerous. I had 4 stone on him, the guy didn't really want to be there, and that's dangerous, and we can't have that. So yeah, some things to look at after the fight, but ultimately, Fraser and Liam, it's not their fault. They move on, and we look for bigger and better tests ahead. Fortunately, there was some really good action on the card as well. We started well with a really competitive light heavyweight fight. I thought Shakan Pittis had his moments, but Dan Aziz a rightful winner. But really good 12-rounder, and great 10-rounder between Natasha and Patricia. Patricia, I thought, really made it competitive. I thought she had a good start. I thought, obviously Natasha won very wide on the cards. I think that was slightly unfair to Patricia, who put a great shift in. But I thought Natasha produced one of the best performances of her career, if not the best, at this new weight. And she looks really strong and powerful and quick. So all that stuff about her winning a world title and then just coming to join us and giving it up has gone out the window. She looks like she's got maybe 18 months, 2 years left in her if she wants to try and become undisputed, maybe fight the winner of Terry and Hannah. And it's great. It's just fantastic. See a big smile on her face, and Mila gets another belt, and yeah, it's great. And obviously she's a comrade, a colleague of ours. We're very close to her, but when we pick up that mic, it's we call it as we see it. And fortunately, for her, she got a great one tonight. And but I want to call out Patricia as well. I thought she was absolutely brilliant. Great all week, tough as nails, defending an unbeaten record, and a quality fighter. Just didn't quite have the power to keep Tasha off her. And yeah, it was a great performance from Jonas in front of her home fans, and she won the war. We said we wanted her on next week, but she was insistent on fighting in Liverpool. She said there's something different about her fighting in Liverpool, and we gave in, and I'm glad we did.
I'd like to talk to you a bit about Adam Azim. Another blistering 1-round stoppage, another amazing celebration. You must see it yourself, coming from someone who does the whole social media side of things. You see he does move the needle. Incredibly good amateur to turn them into a pro. He's going to be a hard fighter to match.
He's going to be a very hard fighter to match, and I think all the Olympians that we've signed are as well, whether it's Fraser Clarke at heavyweight, whether it's Lauren and Karis and Caroline. I think it's going to be tough. They've been elite amateurs. Even Adam was, even they didn't go to the Olympics. They're very, very good fighters, and it doesn't seem like the old journeyman that you could cut your teeth into, like Spencer Oliver had, or people like Nassim Hamid, Ricky Hatton, when they were coming through, and Joe Calzaghe. Maybe they don't exist to the extent they did before, so it's going to be tough to match, particularly someone like Adam, who wants to be a world champion now. And of course there's a lot of levels to go through that he needs to pass the test. It's all very well blowing everyone away, but at some point he's going to get tougher nights, and he needs rounds, and yeah, we've got to step him up. So I look forward to getting him out soon, step him up in quality, and I think we maybe need to move faster with these guys than we would have done in the years before.
Does that sort of make it trickier, because he's obviously so talented? He's blown this competition out of there in seconds at times, but as you say, you need that season as a pro. You need to know sort of the unintangibles. Can you take a shot? And how do you get that whilst?
I think the worry is that Shane believes he'll walk through people up to a really impressive level and maybe even world level. But there's Commonwealth, European. There's all sorts of titles you can go for. Who in Britain really wants to fight Adam Azim? I mean, the money's going to have to be pretty good, but there's always going to be the fighters that want to take that scalp and will commit themselves and will risk it. Conor Marsden was a perfect example, but look what happened. And he punches hard, he's quick, he's electric, and you've got to listen to Shane, who's been with the likes of Hay and Groves and Campbell and Frampton and all sorts, and he's saying he's the best he's ever had. You've got to listen to that. Adam's still got to do it, but to me he looks not only talented but extremely dedicated as well, and I think that's a beautiful concoction. So the world's his oyster, but we've got to be sensible about the way forward, and I think we've got to move him up fairly quickly now.
We saw the body snatcher DILLIAN Whyte down ringside tonight. Just here for a night in Liverpool, or is there more going on there?
He was here for a day in Liverpool, and he came to the football with us. He's not a big football man, but I think he enjoyed the experience, and it was good to catch up with DILLIAN. Despite the defeat to Tyson Fury, obviously he remains a prized asset in the heavyweight world, and there's a huge amount of fights and directions he could go in. So obviously he's finding out where he wants to settle next. He's always had a very good relationship with ourselves at Sky, and I'm sure he'll want to fight on Sky, but it'll come down to money and opportunities and who's got which fighter. So we're talking to him as we always do with DILLIAN, but I wouldn't read too much into it yet. But he'll make a decision pretty soon, and whichever way he goes, we'll support him as we always have.
Hypothetically speaking, if DILLIAN Whyte was to sign with Sky, is it likely you see him with, say, a heavyweight you've had on before, an Otto Wallin or something? I know there's rumours of a fight with Daniel Dubois for November. I don't know what you're going to say here, but any insight you can give us?
Look, I think Frank would like that fight to happen, probably the Dubois Whyte fight. We could match him with any number of heavyweights, really. It just depends. It will come down to what DILLIAN wants to do. He probably deserves now to have a couple of years of earning big money and maybe taking a few more risky fights than he would have to. But we've got an idea of what we'll do with him if he joins us again. I mean, he's been with us for a long time. Obviously, he wasn't for the Fury fight. He's had a great relationship with Eddie and Matchroom, so there's a lot of openings. I think Frank's interested. I'm sure Eddie is, and we are. So, despite the defeat, as I said, to Fury, DILLIAN's still hot property, and most of the heavyweights are. So, there's some big nights ahead. But I'm pretty matter of fact about things. I'm really pleased with the way we're moving with Boxer and Top Rank, and to have DILLIAN will obviously be a bonus. But if we don't get him, then it's other people will benefit, and we'll support him, and maybe we'll have that conversation further down the line. But I want to make sure that these prize fighters, AJ, DILLIAN, all the guys that have done so well over the years, who maybe suffering from defeats of late, make sure that they earn well, and they're in good fights for them and their future. We were gonna sign AJ again for the rest of his career. He went to the Zone, and he's taken a huge amount of money for his family, and he's gone another way, and we wish him nothing but success. So I think AJ will be back. I thought he gave a really good account of himself in Saudi. I think he'll be back. I'd like to see him fight someone like Emmanuel Char maybe, or Trevor Bryan, or Jermaine Franklin, or someone like that. I think he needs a slightly safer fight to come back with, and one that he can hopefully look good in, and maybe then he'll get it on with the likes of DILLIAN or Andy Ruiz if he comes through against Luis Ortiz. But there's a big merry-go-round underneath the sort of Usyk and Fury sort of level, isn't there? And you've got Wilder, you've got Joshua, you've got Joyce, you've got Parker, you've got Daniel Dubois, you've got DILLIAN. I mean, it's brilliant, and I'm sure Fraser in 18 months, 2 years wants to be part of that mix. He was a bit frustrated tonight, Fraser, but he'll be back. There'll be a big smile on his face when he comes down and supports our huge show next week, which is going to be an absolute humdinger at the O2.
It's brought me a lovely segue on the next week. From Monday, we are in Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall Fight Week. So how excited are you?
Probably the most excited I've been in a long time for a fight night. We've worked so hard at Sky to develop women's boxing over the years. Jane Couch showed us what we could do. I think she probably came a bit too before her. She was a bit early for her time. The matches weren't great then. But I think Katie Taylor, you know, being the flag bearer, the iconic figure from Ireland, and Tasha and Savannah and Terry and Chantel and all Ebony and all the great, you know, women that have come through. Ellie Scottney, and now the new generation with Caroline, Lauren and Caris. I'm so excited. Savannah Marshall's been around us for a long, long time. She finally gets the biggest fight of her life, which she's waited 10 years for. Clarissa Shields is magnetic. She's it's almost weird as Serena bows out at the US Open, and Clarissa, who obviously looked up to Serena as an idol and wants to do what Serena's done in many ways in America. I think it's fantastic. She gets her moment next week. It's a pick'em, it's an elite fight, it's just a fantastic main event. You've got Michaela Mayer, and who's just a wonderful athlete, role model, incredible commentator as well. Against Alicia Baumgartner, who's fantastic. You've got Top Rank working with Matchroom, you've got Boxer running the show. I think it's great that everyone's involved. I hope that, you know, a lot of fighters and sportsmen and women come from different promotional backgrounds, different agendas, let's get them all together. We have one night a year with the Boxing Writers' Night, where everyone sort of puts their knives or their pens down, and everyone sort of gets together and, you know, chats as though it's you know, it's one family. And I'd like to see that next week. I think it's a really good moment for sport generally. I think it's a pivotal moment, and we're going to get as many eyeballs as we can on it, and we'd love to welcome, you know, the likes of Katie and Chantel and the Lionesses and everybody there, and as many as who can come. So yeah, and I think there's going to be a great deal of male fighters there as well who just want to be there because it's a cracking card. So Lauren, Caris and Caroline cannot wait. Two terrific top of the bills, and yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
All looking forward to it, Adam. Very late, so I'll let you go.